How we doing today? I'm here at my local nature preserve. Excuse that little buzzing. There's a little few houses over on the side bordering this nature preserve. Yeah, so it's called George Aiken Wildflower Trail. He was a whoa! Literally I'm slipping. Can't even walk up this hill. I've had numerous freeze-thaw cycles. We're in mid-February, coming to that early spring. One can hope. Days are definitely getting longer. So we're here at the George Aiken Trail Nature Preserve. He was a two-time Vermont governor and a six-term U.S. senator. But aside from that, he wrote a few books. I forget the names of them. I haven't read them myself. It just says it on the sign. But he urged everybody to grow native wildflowers, plants, shrubs, ferns. So this is kind of, this whole area is dedicated to him. What I'm going to be talking about today is a little propagation education video. So I just learned this over the early winter, say about December, from another channel on YouTube called Edible Acres. I believe his name is Sean. I forget though. Gotta do a better job at remembering these things. But essentially, we have here is some American elderberry. You can see it's already put on its buds here for the upcoming spring bloom. But if you take a close look, see all those little tiny bumps? They're all covered in them. And that is where this plant is willing to root. You can also do this with gooseberries and currants. So, find a good cutting here with some nice buds on it. You can do it with ones that have no buds too, but when you snip them with your shears or clippers, you just have to make sure that there's that green ring on the inside to showing that it's still alive, well and growing. So essentially, in a few weeks here, once the temps get a little bit higher and the permafrost starts to thaw, I will be coming and taking some cuttings from one of many elderberry plants we got around here. And to my knowledge, they grow with great vigor. So we're not harming this in any way. It's gonna grow back with pure force. So essentially, like I was saying, all you're gonna do is take a nice cutting. Like for instance, this big guy right here, this is looking nice. So we can take this down here. And now you have this whole big branch, and you can divide that into many little elderberry starts. You just stick it in the ground. So let's take this for instance right here. We'd want to stick it about halfway down the ground. As much as showing out on top, that's how much should be showing or stuck underneath into the ground. So early springtime, this will be happening. And by the fall time, all of those starts that you or I divvy up, they will have grown a root system, and then which you can remove them, transplant them to the spot that you want this elderberry plant to begin to grow. So pretty cool stuff. These plants naturally want to reproduce themselves, and with a little help from man or woman, we can work synchronistically with nature and not against it. So there's a few other things I wanted to talk about. Mainly what I'm interested around here. I could definitely do a springtime video when all this grows in and we're looking, it's looking alive. Right now, it's just in its dormancy period. So there is, I wanted to talk about the raspberries and the blackberries in terms of propagating them. Because I just found out this information, like I said, in December. And I've kind of been thinking about it and planning ever since, because it seems to me a great way to have, I almost slipped again, an abundance of perennial foods and medicines with very little effort. As I was saying, these plants naturally want to reproduce, and yeah. So here we are over at this little blackberry patch. What we have here. So we see how it's kind of going on that curve. These plants naturally want to dip back down into the ground. I haven't actually seen it myself yet, like one that was fully dipped down into the ground, but we can help them. So in another few weeks, same time as when I come back to harvest some elderberry propagation material, I'm gonna come over here. So essentially what you would do is just take this one that's already leaning over. We got a few of them here. And what you're gonna do is just bare that end in the ground right there. And throughout the season, this will grow. And essentially a new one will pop up right here. Kind of like a dolphin going in and out of the water. So, boom, put this in the ground. Once the ground thaws a little bit, it will grow through the springtime, the summer. A new one will pop up. All you have to do, snip it, and you will have a new established blackberry plant. And then you can simply repeat over and over again. And I've already done that a few times. I did it on our last real warm day before everything kind of hunkered down and got cold. The deer kind of hang out in here during the when it's all grown in, so that's why it's I don't know if you can see, but you can see where some deer laid down in the past. So essentially, yeah, here's one right here that I did. Two, actually. So see how it's on that bent over, starts right here, goes and into the ground right there. Now, in the springtime, a new one will pop up right here. We'll snip this. And I guess really that will leave you with 2 new blackberry plants. And you can just take this, dip back in the ground, repeat. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 3 right over there, and 4 that I had did in late December on our last really warm day right before the winter solstice, December 21st. Ironically, that was the day that we saw a dip down in temperatures. We've definitely had many fluctuations in between. I keep a good record of the temperature, have been doing so for about 2 years now, going on 3. I always just record the low temp and the rising time and what it had gotten up to for the high for the day. And keeping my own records of the temperatures really has helped me just simply keep track of the fluctuations that we see. It seems that people quickly forget when we have a spike up day. For instance, it was 50 degrees on January 1st. Maybe I could do a video about that, go over the detailed temperatures that I have recorded. The point of the matter is we see crazy fluctuations. I'm talking about a 40 degrees difference within 2 days, sometimes more than that. So with that being said, all these plants around here are very, very hardy and well adapted to the extreme climate in which we live. So right here, we have a whole little, I don't know what you would call this, a patch, raspberry patch. All these red guys are raspberries. So a little bit different. I think you can do the same in which I just showed with the blackberry, but they grow a little different. And to my understanding, raspberries will grow up, there's one mother plant, and then it will grow up a little runner around the main mother. So to actually decipher which one of these is the mother and the runner, I'm not too certain on how we could exactly establish that. I do see ones that look more alive than other ones that look kind of like dead. But that also could just be this dormancy period that they're in right now. But I stumbled upon this patch I've been coming here for about 2 years, going on three seasons, I should say. And yeah, we're going into our 3rd spring observing this nature preserve. And just this past fall, I don't know if it was the abnormal warmer temps going into October, but come to find out, this whole patch of really nice big raspberries is everbearing. And everbearing is when you will have either, I've seen different things, it could be a continuous harvest throughout the whole season, or you will get a harvest in June and then a late fall harvest as well. So with that being said, these raspberries are of high value, because if the temperatures are permitting, I harvested, a big, can't show with but like, about that big of a jar of nice fresh raspberries in the 2nd week of October. So to be able to propagate some of these wonderful wild raspberries would be an amazing thing. So you don't want to rip out the mother plant. So, I kind of just took a shot in the dark and ripped one up. Being that there's so many here, I figured it couldn't possibly do too much damage. So we will see what happens with that in the spring. Have that down at my household. But yeah, so these are all kind of grown up, like very mature. But if you stumble upon a raspberry patch that's a little bit more underdeveloped than this, the way you can decipher the mother from the runner is that your mother is going to be, well established, like these ones we have right here, these nice tall ones. You can see the the berries that had died off, that were not able to get harvested. And then your runners are going to be, you know, around, surrounding the mother on the bottom down here. There's going to be like little shoots that come up, little tiny raspberry plants. And those ones you can simply dig up, do a little snip snip with your shears, and plant that where you would like, easily propagating more of these plants and bringing nutritional food to you and your loved ones. So that's three plants that could be easily propagated. Pretty simplistic, a little bit different from each other in their own way, but essentially having that same result, multiplied perennial food. So that's the video for today. One love, wholeness, and we'll talk soon. Peace.